have equal tension around the entire outside of the drum. How you do that is when you first put it on, you'll slowly put usually what I do is I'll take kind of my fingers on either side and I'll hand tighten the lugs or the tension rods themselves. So you get the correct tension, more or less. So it's just kind of hand tighten. You don't have to really muscle it. You can do that all the way around. All of the tension rods until all of them kind of are slightly hand tightened. Then you go through, and once you have that there, that means that you're at a semi-equal tension all the way around the actual drum head itself. Then you take the drum key and you'll start with like one. And usually what I do is I'll take it and I'll kind of stick my hand on there and I'll actually hold on to that particular one. So I can kind of memorize which one is the first one or have kind of a reference as to which one was the first one that I started on. You'll tighten that, usually kind of like a half turn or a full turn, and then you go across, so straight across the drum to the next one. You'll tighten that one, and then you'll move over to the side, and you'll go to another one, tighten that one, and you go across again, and you tighten. What it's doing is it's giving you equal tension all the way across, as opposed to if you tighten with these two, and then you go over and start trying on there, you might not get the equal tension for both of them, and it could make it so your whole drum head is weird, it'll never tune upright or sound good at all. So moving forward, you go and you just continue and keep going all the way across. And then once you do that, the biggest way to really figure out and make sure that the tension, usually what I do is I'll do that probably a total of about maybe for each lug, a total of probably about 2 turns, 2.5 turns on each one of them. And then once you have that, you can go through and you can actually stick both of your fingers, kind of middle fingers, around the outside of the tension rod. And then you can actually press on the edge of the drum itself right here. And you can feel the tension, kind of feel how tight it is. And then you can do the same thing, you go across. And you go across the whole thing, and then with that, you actually go and just try and make it so they feel kind of relatively the same as far as tension is concerned. You do that all the way around the whole drum. And then you'll turn it over, because most drums nowadays, as far as standard drum sets, they'll have heads on the top, heads on the bottom. And with that, you'll actually make sure you have good tension, equal tension all the way around. And then from there, now obviously we all kind of understand how to get the tension. Does everyone have any questions or anything as far as keeping tension, making sure that it's tight and feels good all the way around?
So okay. How do you move with the one that's already there? So he already using the drum.
Sorry, what was that?
So I mean, he's already playing on drums right now, right? So does he move it and put it back on again?
It usually helps to kind of loosen it, because it doesn't hurt the drum at all to loosen them all the way and then just come back up and kind of start from the beginning. And even if it's a thing where you really want to set it in your head to learn how to tune drums, it always helps. I mean, the more you do it, the more proficient you're going to become at actually doing it and kind of hearing the tonality of each drum and how you want it to be tuned. So, any other questions as far as tension or anything like that? Okay, cool. Moving forward. So once you get the tensions, they are actually tuned in pitches. So when you hit a drum, it actually is ringing a note out, just like if you hit a note on a piano or a note on a guitar or a note on a violin or whatever. It's actually hitting a musical note. So each one of the drums, you hit a musical note. You don't necessarily have to know notes or anything like that. A lot of it's just kind of getting some sort of reference to start with to give you an idea of how they should be tuned away from each other. Snare drum, a lot of times that's preference. Same with the kick drum as far as the tonality that you want from it. And there's a lot that goes into that. I'll come back to snare drum and kind of all the intricacies as far as what you can do to get it tuned exactly how you want it to be tuned later. I'll start right now with toms. So with tom drums, each one of the tom drums, you're actually going to have a certain pitch that you want for each, depending on whether or not you have just 2 toms or 3 toms or 20 toms like Neil Peart or something like that. If you just want to have a bunch of toms, they're usually going to be tuned different. Most times, standard 5-piece drum set, which is going to have the 2 mounted toms and then the 1 floor tom, you'll tune them in triads. What triads are, or it's just a musical term. It's more or less saying that the major scale, which is like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, there are 8 notes in that. And so if you count the first note, the second note, third note, and then fourth note, and then fifth note, that would be a triad, because those are more or less 3 apart from each other. So that note, but the easiest way to think about it is a lot of people know as Space Odyssey, so like the ba, 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 and then the drum drums go boom, 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 boom. That's a triad. So that's one part. That's a third away from each other. So if you do that with the drums, which let's see, I actually forgot the drum stick.